Welcome back to the Real Nykel channel. I really appreciate you guys for checking out the reactions. You know, I live stream every day from 9 to 11. Catch the streams because, I be genuine with my reactions and I do it. You never know which Nykel you're going to get. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy the reaction. My girlfriend called me the N-word. So, and so when I was trying to look for another video, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at him because he has the fucking hoop earrings. I'm like, this nigga looks so pretty. So I'm trying to figure out if this shit is like good or not. But I'm reading the fucking description. This said, my former girlfriend I found out was a chocolate chaser and a racist. She proceeded to call me slurs. Bro, we gotta watch this. We gotta watch this. Shit.
Of us making love, I had a decision to
make. Oh, wait a minute.
She called me the N-word in the middle of us making love. I had a decision to make. I could either stand up for my people and myself, or I could keep smashing with the power of racism coursing through my veins. So I did.
Because I be trying to like think about like that scenario. Like if I was dating, or when I was dating my girl, my ex, she was white. What would I do if she called me the N-word while we were fucking? Yes, Nykel, give me that nigger dick. I'd have to have the ancestors course through my veins. Then I'd have to take off the condom to show what a real nigger does.
A lot of racist. Now, it's not something I
fuck them kids,
but basically, especially in my younger days, I used to not avoid white women as much. Plus, I go to a PWI, so I kind of run into them. So I'm kind of gambling at this point. But I met this young lady in particular through Bumble. She hit me up. We exchanged information.
Oh, he's got to be pretty.
And I don't text her because that's one of my methods. Like
he's got to be in the Rainbow Brigade.
But I'm not going to text you because I want to see how you react. I want to see if you really want me enough to press the issue. And lo and behold, she did, okay? I posted something on my story. She slid up saying, I want to sit on your face. I was like, go ahead. And the rest, as they say, is history. We text for a few days and then link, which is pretty soon for me, to be honest. But basically, on this first link, that's when I should have known something was going to happen, just something bad in general, because her friends were there. Now, that's normally something I don't have an issue with at all. However, she was very weird regarding her friends. Like, her friends would leave the room, and then she would ask me about one. She'd be like, oh, like, do you want to sleep with her? Blah, 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 in a very accusatory way, like, not in, like, a jokey way or anything like that. And then when she says that to me, I'm thinking, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I barely know this woman. It's not like she's going to be jealous or anything. I'm just like, yo, is like she interested? And she did not like that at all. And then she's asking me about her other friend. She's like, oh, you must know her. Like, did you guys smash already? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, like I literally met Shorty today when you introduced us to each other. That was not true. I lied to her, okay? I knew exactly who her friend was because me and her friend matched on Tinder and we were talking back and forth and then it ended up fizzling out. It was what it was. However, we had established that we both found each other very attractive. So when I saw her, I kind of gave her that, oh my gosh, we think each other is attractive face. But then the face she gave me was like, yeah, we think each other is attractive, but now's not the time. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, like with Shorty I came with, things must be a bit odd. And that was astute, okay? Astute observation by Shorty. I'm so glad she didn't say, hey, I know him, we met on Tinder, because knowing about Shorty what I know now, she would have crashed out. Because mind you, Shorty I pulled up with, not chill at all, especially when it came to me. Like one time her friends were gone and we're just sitting chilling and she's like, why haven't you kissed me yet? Like in a very aggressive way. And I'm like, yo, I can't just, like I can't.
Let Shorty be aggressive and say, why haven't you kissed me yet? Bitch. Choke that bitch.
To be cool in here, because mind you, I'm not a kiss initiator. I'm not going to get too far off topic, but I much prefer to be the one who's kissed. But anyways, everything went fine. But
yeah, fruity. I'm the kiss initiator. What? Yeah,
she also wants to link again the next day, which is fine because I'm like,
I never met a man who said he wants to be a kiss initiator.
She had a lot of
he wants to be kissed.
I was kind of eating it up, and I could tell she was a freak too because when she was giving me sloppy, she was like, imagine someone sitting on your lap, but they're on the end closer to your knee. Shorty was just bending down, going to town on me. I'm like, oh god, like there's something in her that I like. Not gonna lie, she was low-key looking like a monk, like she was just praying to my meat, bending down like this. It went so hard. Anyways, Next day, she wanted to go see a movie, but she wanted to go to this theater that was out of town. It was weird. Anyways, point is, we end up not even physically seeing the movie because we're stuck in the parking lot because we're getting freaky. Now, it's getting to the point where she kind of wants to get on top of me and sleep with me in the car. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, we're too grown for this car stuff. Like, this is a bit ridiculous.
Man, shut your bitch ass up. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Too grown for that. You never too grown with no car stuff. I swear to God.
Am I going to turn it down? No. So she's trying to get on top of
Alright,
me.
then, take your bitch ass up.
Two things. One, she drove. I'm in the passenger seat. I don't drive. And two, I'm a very large man.
I told you, passenger princess. Bruh, he's already giving me, bruh, he's giving me telltale signs that he's from, you know, he rides the Fruitvale Station train, you know, Fruitvale Station speech. He rides the Fruitvale Station train. Just his enunciations, how he speaks. He compared the girl when she was giving him top as a monk, and then what did you say?
Do two things. One, she drove. I'm in the passenger seat. I don't drive. And
Yeah, that he's in the passenger seat. She drove because he don't drive.
two, I'm a very large man. Like I'm 6'6", so I'm taking up a lot of space in her passenger seat. So now she's trying to get over, and I think it was like my hip was in the way of her, where she was trying to put her leg or her knee or something. And she said, "Nigga, move." So me, I'm like, "Yo, get off me. What are you on?"
He said, "Nigga, move." Oh my god! I ain't gonna lie. If she would have said that to me, I would have been appalled or something. What'd you say? I would have laughed. Did this bitch really just say nigga move?
Blah, 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 blah. I'm low-key pressing her about it. Like, I'm actually impressed with the fact that I did that. And she's like playing off. She's like, oh, you're tripping. Like, my ex let me say it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, my bad. Like, a very inauthentic apology. Basically, she was saying, oh, I get that you're mad, but it's not that big of a deal. And the thing is, I am bricked up during this entire conversation. Like, it didn't just go down because, remember, we were preparing to make love. So that's what we continued to do. And it was good. When I tell you she's like top 3 ever, like, yeah, she had that stuff going on outside the ring, but you separate the art from the artist. But things after we finish, we're just chilling, right? Just chilling in the car, talking about whatever. And the police pull up. One police officer, he shines a light in the car and he knocks on the window and she rolls it down. And he starts talking. He's like, yo, like, what's going on? She's like, oh, we're just chilling. And he was like, yo, okay, I just heard, you know, there might have been like things happening out here. Just know if it gets more than just chilling, you guys have to go somewhere. And she's like, oh, yeah, of course. Mind you, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm playing it cool, but I'm just in the passenger seat, like...
Come after they fuck, like 20 minutes after.
It's the police. Like, and after he leaves, she's gonna feel my chest and be like, oh my gosh, why is your heart beating so fast? You're scaring me. Like, kind of pressing me about the fact that my heart is beating so fast. And I wouldn't include this detail in the story, other than later on, it's gonna make something else she says so weird. But now we're chilling again, right? And I'm going through my phone, like I'm just showing her a video or something, and she sees I get a text from somebody, and she starts crashing out. Mind you, this is the second day I've met her in person. We were texting for a few days, so I maybe knew this woman like a week. And she is freaking out, like visibly. Like, it's one thing for you to be like, oh my gosh, like, I kind of wish he wasn't talking to someone else. But she's actively freaking out. She's yelling at me, like reading me the whole 9 yards. I'm like, yo, I didn't think we were in a relationship. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's speaking very irrationally. And then she starts whipping to the crib.
There are some crazy hoes like that who, after like maybe 1 to 2 weeks of talking, that either you cut it off or, you know, y'all fucking and they just get super fucking, they get super clingy and they don't want you to be talking to nobody else. They get jealous really easy and just like, bitch, we not together. Yeah, we fucking, but calm down. Calm your ass down.
Like, super recklessly. I'm like, thank God that police officer's gone. But anyways, she's like yelling at me the whole time. She's like hitting the steering wheel. I'm like, she is crazy. What's going on? But then once we get to the parking lot to my place, me and her kind of have a heart to heart. Well, like her heart to my like lies. Like I'm faking to her, but like at the same time, I don't want her to. I didn't want her to leave. But if she did leave, I wouldn't have cared. However, I still put forth the effort so she wouldn't. I was basically playing like James Harden level defense, but it was fine. Everything worked. Things became cool. But then I knew from this point on, sadly, I was going to have to at least give her the idea that I was being monogamous with her. So she was technically my girlfriend, but I still never asked her to be my girlfriend. She never asked me to be her boyfriend. It was kind of just a situation where she was like, I like you so much, so we kind of have to be monogamous. But that conversation was never really had. I just knew that's kind of what she was getting at. So I was kind of cooling down a bit. So we were kind of in a relationship, but it wasn't official. And keep in mind, she would randomly do this thing where she'd be like, I think you're gay. And I'd be like, do you? And she
I know you're a part of the sexuals. My bad. No, you're not ahead of the sexuals. You're not ahead of the sexuals. You're not.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you have to be. And I'd be like,
Oh.
oh? And
Yep.
then we would just move on in this conversation. And the thing is, I feel like there are a lot of like good reasons someone could be like, oh, you're gay. So I don't really like get mad at it. But she would do it at the weirdest times. Like basically one time we were at the store and she wanted to sleep with me in the bathroom. And I'm like, no, because my worst fear is getting caught having sex in public and then having that offender label.
Oh yeah. See, all right, now I'm gonna say that's pretty gay of you, but I ain't gonna lie. I think that just might be my horny ass. Just about so damn, I can knock that shit off my bucket list. I totally did not think about becoming a sex offender because of fucking in a public place. I totally forgot about that shit. You still gay, but it's he right.
But I feel like a lot of women have a kink of doing it in public because they don't really have to worry about that offender label like being as creepy if it's assigned to them. Like if I get called an offender and people don't know what it is at first, people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, he probably did X, Y, Z," thinking the worst of the worst. But if it's a woman, I feel like people don't really jump to those conclusions. But yeah,
Bruh, all I remember is that fucking the South Park episode where the teacher was dating Ike and who was it? Kyle who went into the it was Kyle who went to the fucking police the police station and brought Ike. It was like the teacher is fucking my little brother. Okay, where is he? It's a she. Everybody went quiet. Just like nice. Yeah. So what's the problem? So he got a point. That's so fucking funny.
For stuff like that. Like she wants to do hand stuff in a restaurant, I say no. Like somehow I'm a homosexual for that. But anyway,
that's pretty homosexual of you.
Hey, she's at my crib, right? I'm going to the bathroom. I believe I'm showering or something. And then I come out and she's looking at me with like the craziest look I've seen from a woman. Like she's literally looking at me like, and I'm like,
that was pretty good.
What happened? Apparently, we were watching stuff on my MacBook. She went through my MacBook and went through my messages. Mind you, she didn't actually find anything because I actually wasn't talking to anybody else, even though I should have been. But she found something old. She found old, like, kind of like softcore stuff I had between me and this young lady, and she got mad that it existed. Now, mind you, this video happened 2 days before I met Shorty in person. We were still texting during that time, though, which obviously I feel like you can't hold me to that because we met off Bumble. It was what, like day 1, day 2 of us texting each other. Obviously, I'm gonna be doing stuff. But then she gets on me. She's trying to change the date. She's like, no, we first linked on this day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I specifically remember. And I even pulled up the text. Like, I scrolled all the way up and I was like, see, like, this is like you saying, like, hey, what time you want me to come over, stuff like that. But she's still mad. Like, now she's just mad that she's wrong. She's like, oh, like, you're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't believe you, blah, blah, blah. You're an F slur. And I'm like, I couldn't let that slide. I was like, you're gonna call me an F slur?
I did not expect that.
Because I'm involved with this woman? Like that was clearly a woman in the video. She did not like that I said that. She punched me in the face. And I am a grown man. Again, I am 6'6". She was 5'1". No, I did not hit her back. Honestly, it kind of aroused me a bit, but she's trying to get more punches in. So now I'm grabbing her. Like, I can grab the wrist and just, like, restrain her, essentially. But now she's, like, kind of, like, pushing up against me, like, and it's like, man, like, I'm bricked up. Like, she's, like, feeling it on my body. So one thing leads to another. Now we're making love. Anyways, things are going well. Now we're in missionary, and she says, give me that N-word dick. I can't even say the word, like, in that context. And I wish I could say that this was an uncommon thing I've heard said, but it wasn't. Luckily, we weren't making eye contact when she said that because basically, I'm not going to explain the whole nuances of the position to you, but her face was closer to my shoulder than it was to my face. So I could kind of pretend that I didn't hear it. And the things I kind of wanted to pretend I didn't hear it because, you know, you don't want the person you're dating to say that, you know, especially in that situation. So you're just kind of like, oh, maybe she didn't, maybe I heard her wrong, but in hindsight, that's obviously what she's. And I think she knew she got away with something because she did not bring it up after or say anything about her saying it. And I know you might be thinking, oh my gosh, bro, she already called you the N-word twice. That's crazy. Look here, that is not the main time. Like, it gets worse or better if you happen to be racist. But basically, like that last time when she's like, give me that N-word dick, I'm kind of like, she's not really calling.
You know, I think too. I think that's a fantasy for black guys and white girls. I can't even count. Or not a fantasy. Sorry, a fetish. I think that might be a fetish, or just a what would you do? I don't know. I think all the power. Excuse me. The power of my forefathers would just take over and blow her into oblivion with my N-word dick.
Me the N-word, she's kind of just referring to my N-word anatomy, so I don't really consider that. It's still bad, don't get me wrong, but like I don't consider that calling me the N-word. So anyways, things are fine now. But then we end up having this conversation one day. And she's like, Bryce, like we need to talk about something, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like it sounds like it's gonna be something serious. And she tells me, she's like, my dad is a police officer. And I was like, okay. And she was like, you're okay with that? And I'm like, what am I supposed to like break up with you for that? Now I always forget if it was dad or uncle, but for the sake of the story, let's just say it's her dad. But basically, I was like, yeah, what are you telling me this for? It's kind of just a pointless thing to say to me. Why'd you scare me like that? Like you're gonna tell me something serious. You're just telling me your dad's a police officer. And she's like, I thought black people didn't like the police. And I'm like, for one, remember earlier when we were in the car and she was like, why are you freaking out? Like, why is your heart beating so fast? Blah, blah, blah. When the police officer was just there. Like, what's the point of saying this? Not like, what did she do her research? Like, did she search up information about black people and now she like came to the conclusion that we don't like the police? But also, I would like to assume that her father isn't like a corrupt police officer. And no, I'm not a fan of the police, but I'm not just gonna have beef with every police officer I see. Like, she think it would be an on-site relationship between.
First off, you said your heart was racing when the police came up. Second off, you just said that you don't like the police, but now you're mad at her for her assuming that black people don't like the police. Yet you just gave her, you just gave us clear signs that you don't fuck with the police. You gotta be one of the most retarded gay niggas I've ever seen in my life. I swear to God.
Me and him, like I literally told her, I was like, babe, you're saying this as if he's gonna try to arrest me or something. And she's like, no, no, no. And I'm like, then why are you telling me this? This is irrelevant information. I low-key could like pulled up on him and just like found out he's a police. No, okay, now it is good that she told me, but she didn't have to tell me like that. Look at you being all so conscientious about the black struggle after telling me you wanted my N-word genitals. Like, come on. By the way, something else about this girl, she really wanted a threesome with a guy, and her tagline every time.
That's a train. That's a train.
She's like, please, Bryce, I want 2 black dicks in me at once. And I'm like,
oh my God, that could be a porn star. What the fuck?
Why would you say that? And also, like me, like I had to look in the mirror and I'm like, why am I putting up with this? The answer is, she was very attractive, but it's like, what am I gonna do? If an extremely fine racist person pulled up on you and told you they want your black meat, you're not denying that, okay? Anybody with a brain isn't denying that.
You're getting this black meat.
About it, okay? And I didn't feel good about it. I felt a little bit ashamed, not too much though. Like I was still like, okay, like I'm still like she's still a baddie. I'm still like
I'm cleaning the water off my fucking monitor.
Good for me, but like, what is it doing to my soul? Anyways, one day, me and her hanging out. Now she wants to sleep with me. I don't at this particular moment. We had already slept together like multiple times, and like there's sometimes where I feel like if I do it too much, I low-key don't even want to touch a person. I'm low-key just like grossed out. Then we're going back and forth, and she says, if you don't sleep with me right now, I'm gonna tell people that you raped me.
Damn.
And the thing is, this has happened to me before in life, but it was in high school, and like I was able to just like leave the crib. Like I didn't have to deal with shorty. But now I'm like, man,
that's fucking crazy. So not only you've been threatened that if you don't sleep with a motherfucker that you've been that you have raped them once, but twice. And I bet you they're both white women. Buddy. Think we know your issue. Might as well just go ahead and let the cat out the bag. Let's go ahead and open that closet door. It's okay. It's okay. And it's your month too. Come on now.
Yeah. Like, what if I leave and, like, she says that, like, you know, like, I'm overthinking everything, so I'm like, man, I guess I just gotta put up with it. And there are worse consequences in this world than sleeping with a baddie. So it's like, yeah, that sucks, but I'll put up with it. But mind you,
a baddie? For real? No straight man talks like this. Let's be honest.
This time,
Bad
she's
bitch.
like kind of going ballistic on me. She's on top of me like a monster. She got both hands around my neck. She's looking at me like, I'm like, oh God, like I'm eating it up, like I'm having a great time. But then she says, "You like that, huh? You N-word."
I know, bro. I agree with that. She is channeling her ancestors. Fucking Mary Beth, Mary Beth, Anastasia. Who else? Fucking whoever the fucking the racist white moms and sisters, ancestors who really like the fucking with the slaves. She's channeling all those people. All those people. That's great.
And we were making eye contact, so there's no denying it this time. And that's when I have that thought. I'm like, I can either stand up for my people right now, or myself, and like put a stop to it, or I can keep on smashing with the power of racism through my veins. You know, maybe my ancestors would come down and help me a little bit to like help me defeat her sexually. It was a choice I had to make. And I think I made the right one.
Bust that nut.
Sex. I made the sex choice. And here's why I think it was the right decision.
Of course. I still think it's a little bit fruity. But that was the least gay thing I think I've heard this whole video. I'm not even okay. Bust that nut.
Other factors at play. Like I know from just the racism standpoint, you're like, oh, how could you put up with that? Remember, she already said that she was willing to tell people I raped her if I didn't sleep with her. Could you imagine?
Yeah, she don't care.
A woman in heat on top of me, and I take her off me? Like she's mid arousal, like that pure rage, and this was a rageful time for her. Could you? But granted, after this, I did not want to be with her anymore. And I know you're probably thinking, how'd you get out of that relationship? There were a lot of threats levied, blah blah blah. I used a method that works 10 times out of 10 when I have to break up with someone. Basically, my thing is, I tell them that I'm not going to do something, like I'm not going to go somewhere. Usually it's like a function or something, and then I go to that function.
So you lie.
I make an appearance. When I specifically told them I wouldn't make an appearance, I make all sorts of promises, like, no, I'm not going to go. I would never go without you, blah, blah, blah. And then I go without them. Because it's not cheating. It's not anything crazy. It's just a breach of trust, but like a regular breach of trust. Like nothing that can get them too angry. Like if I fought to get them back after doing it, I definitely could. But me doing that always gets a, oh my gosh, we're done out of them. And it worked with her in particular because she really wanted to go public with me. And I was just like, nah, like that's not our swag. Like how about we just like chill, blah, blah, blah. But then it got to the point where I told her, I was like, okay, if I pop out, it's going to be with you. But basically, I'm not popping out. Like that's what I was basically saying. I'm like, I got to focus on school. Like I'm not going to functions right now. It's not what I'm doing. However, I went to a function one night and people had cameras. Like they're just like recording like the party. And of course she sees it all over social media because I post it on my social media. Basically I take a screen recording of someone else's post and then I repost it. And I'm like, oh man, last night was crazy. Boom. Okay. I'm home free. I feel like, oh my gosh. This has to be how the slaves felt when they escaped. I underground railroaded my way out of this situation. See, people try to make me feel bad about this, okay? But I know my ancestors are looking at the way I maneuvered through that situation. They're like, yo, like, good for Bryce. Like, I'm glad he did that. Like, I feel like, I don't want to say I'm their hero, but if Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks saw the way I maneuvered that situation, they would clap. They would definitely clap. Couple more things I forgot. You know darn well Malcolm X would be proud of me. And also, her friend from the very beginning, the friend that I met on Tinder, but we didn't really talk, but then like she kind of suspected that me and her were talking. After this whole situation with her was done, they stopped being friends, and then me and her started talking. Don't you love when things end up like that? See, and now that's a very wholesome ending. And I'm glad you guys went on this journey with me. Thanks for watching. As always, you're very much appreciated. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff I have to say. And yeah. Have a lovely day.
Hey, sounds like a real nigga to me. So, because honestly, usually I would say, honesty is the best apology. apology. What the fuck? Honesty is the best policy. But him being honest could have easily, because she was willing to lie on him and say that he raped her just for not fucking him. So if he would have been like some, yeah, I'm done with you. I'm cool on you. Ain't no telling what the fuck that bitch would have done. I ain't gonna cap. Yeah, he picked the right move. On God. But shout out to Black Ryan Seacrest. You know what? It's Pride Month. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a subscribe.